Hey everybody and welcome back. It's Fox with FoxeoGames. It has been a little bit since I've last played. You wouldn't know it because you're seeing these episodes day in and day out. One per day. Basically one per day. I've missed a few days uploading, but that's fine. So basically what we did last time was take care of Gwendolyn. And now we're going to repair some gear and see about finishing this whole thing up. I think I might go through the Painted World because we can't go straight to Gwen. That's just too quick. That's too fast. Let's see. Is there a way to... Oh, the Painted World of Ariamis. Let's do it. Warp to selected bonfire. We're going to mess around in there, hit some of the areas we didn't hit the first time through. Although we've already defeated the boss, we did not open up the main door of the level. Today's drink of choice is going to be black coffee, dark roast espresso beans, Starbucks espresso beans. With no cream, no sugar, obviously no sugar. Woo! Look at these guys attacking me viciously. Vicious is what you should be when it comes to the dating market, gentlemen. This whole playthrough has been all about masculinity, the red pill, relationships, women. Very much from a masculine perspective. A real, true masculine perspective, not like the pretend masculine perspective you get from pretend men in a pretend world of pretend values. Alright, let's do this. We are tackling what needs to be tackled. Alright, where's this creature at? I know they're going to fly down. Do you have to pick up the item and make them fly down? There they go. Okay, well, yep. Here we go. Wow, look at that. They didn't even have a chance. Not bad, huh? Let's do this, too. Okay, so that's going to take a minute to kill them. Especially from this distance. Oh, so close. So close. Didn't do it. Oh, look at this. Now let's see here. The only what the heck? Come on now, what was that? Whatever. Whatevs, bro. So, one of the topics that we've covered a lot in this relationship discussion is how you are not beholden to one woman. Now, women don't want you to know this. Your girlfriend, your wife, whatever, will disagree with it vehemently. They will have a lot of very strong feelings on the matter, but you have, I forget how to get there. I guess we dropped down from up above, right? You are not required to. You do not have to date just one woman at a time. There's this notion out there that if you date more than one woman at a time, that you're some sort of player and that's a bad thing and you're a bad guy because you don't limit yourself to just one woman. The idea of dating more than one woman, and for women, it's dating more than one guy at a time. That's fine too. If you guys just, I think it should be made. I think men and women should be made aware, or at least they should not be misled into believing anything else is going on. If you're dating multiple women, you're doing what a lot of guys are doing, what a lot of women are doing in dating multiple men, is that you're sort of seeing what's out there, you're seeing what's available, and you're not limiting yourself to just one person, because you know that if you do that, you may get caught up in that one person. You don't explore all the options that you have. You're limiting yourself in what you can get out of life. It's like if somebody were to say, hey, when you go to look for a new car, let's say you're about to buy a new car, right? You only go to one dealership from one car manufacturer, and you only look at the cars that they make available, and that's it, and you pick from those. Well, that would be severely limiting, right? I mean, let's say you only go to Hyundai. You only look at Hyundai. Hyundai cars only at one dealership. So, that dealership may not even have a certain kind of car in a color that you want. They may not have a certain kind of car in a manual transmission if you want a stick shift. They may not have a certain model of car at all because it's a really popular model and they've sold out temporarily and the manufacturer hasn't made as many as they anticipated for the need. Long story short, you wouldn't want to do that, right? But imagine, if you will, that all you do when you're looking for a new car is listen to one person who says, hey man, you should get a Hyundai Sonata, and that's it. So you just go looking for a Hyundai Sonata. You should get a Hyundai Sonata in red. So you go looking for a red Hyundai Sonata, period. You don't look at anything else. You don't consider anything else. You just say, well, this is what's available to me. So I'm just gonna go with it. Well, that would be kind of stupid, wouldn't it? I mean, you might miss out on something much, much better. And the same thing applies to women that you're dating. And if you're a woman listening to this, some of this applies to you dating men, but not all of it. It's not universally applicable intergender, that is. The genders, the sexes are not just, carbon copies of each other with different genitals. No, not at all. They're very different. The dynamics are very different. What men and women are looking for are very different. So instead of taking that approach of I'm going to look at just one model of car in just one color or just one dealership, how about this? How about, you know what? I am going to look at every model of car at every single dealership that I can get to. So I'm going to go to the Hyundai dealership. I'm going to go to the Chevy dealership. I'm going to go to the Subaru dealership. I'm going to go to the Honda dealership. I'm going to go to the Ford dealership. I'm going to look. And I'm going to start to narrow down exactly what it is that I think is the best fit for me. And, if you go to the first dealership and this guy says, hey, check out this car, the Chevy Cruze. The Chevy Cruze comes in all these options. You can do this and look at this beautiful color. You're like, wow, that's a really great color. And that car looks really nice. And it's kind of got some of the features I want. So in that moment, you get caught up thinking, well, gee, the Chevy Cruze has got to be the car for me because it just looks so great. And this guy's making it seem like such a great car. And yeah, I'm sure, the Chevy Cruze may be a great car in many ways, and it might ultimately be the one you want to settle on. But you won't know that if you just jump to the conclusion of, wow, the Chevy Cruze must be the car for me because it seemed great at the time, and I didn't look at any other cars, I just settled on it. Doesn't sound like a good idea, does it? It's amazing, though. A lot of people do this. I have a friend. He went into the first dealership he walked into. They showed him this one car because they asked him just a couple questions. And, he made the mistake of thinking that was sort of the vetting process, because I'm going to talk about vetting women. And it's not a 100% guaranteed system. You want to vet women, you want to set boundaries, you want to continue to vet and set boundaries. It's not a one-time deal, but he thought that this guy kind of figured him out with a few questions, showed him one type of car, and he went with it. That was it. That was his new car. And he was pretty unhappy with it. It wasn't absolutely terrible, but he had quite a few problems with it. It was a newer model car. It wasn't quite what he was looking for. It was missing at least one feature that ideally he said he would have put on his must-have list, so he didn't have it. Hey, let's pour some coffee. I think this thing is ready. I'm going to push down the French press plunger. That's what I call it. I don't know if that's the official name. And pour that coffee into this very, very small, tiny mug. That says on it, coffee. Yeah, it says coffee. But it's spelled with... Oh, it's spelled with two E's. It's just hard to see. It also says mocha. It says latte, Java. Wow, so many names. And it has pictures of different coffee mugs and coffee in there with whipped cream and all this other stuff. And do yourself a favor, guys. Learn to love coffee without the sugar, without all the sugary dressings, without the... I mean, the whipped cream isn't terrible. It's just got a little tiny bit of sugar in it. And if you want to throw a little bit of... Let's see... Where do I go from here, guys? If you want to throw a little bit of cream, that's not too bad. I'm not an opponent of dairy. Just be aware that milk has some milk sugars in it. They're known as lactose. All right, so here we are, wandering through this area, confused as always, not 100% sure where I'm supposed to go. I know how to get to the end, obviously, but what I want to do is try to get through here in a way that you're supposed to. Not use that I don't know if I'd call it cheap, but not use the cheap dragon legs route. Let's go up here. Up here used to be the dried finger, but now, or I'm sorry, was it the dried finger? No. Okay, so up here at the top was the red soapstone. So I don't know if it's still up here. I've heard it has been replaced, that it's no longer up there. So let's see. The problem you get here is not that these enemies are particularly difficult, it's that you don't have room to maneuver. So it's really easy to fall depending on the type of weapon you have in the moveset. Some weapon movesets will cause you to move a lot and then you'll fall because, oh yeah, it's the red sign soapstone. Excellent. That's a great weapon. I'm sorry, great item. Very useful if you want to do invasions. Almost a necessity if you want to be big into invasions. So, what am I talking about with all this car talk? I had to get a car not too long ago because the car I had was just dying pretty much. And the whole point of this is that I spent a long time and a lot of effort trying to determine exactly what kind of car would best fit me for the long term. What you don't want to do is get a car that might be okay temporarily, and then you'll find out, well, it doesn't quite fit everything you need. Because I had a lot of conditions, and no one... You know what? I'm going to have to fall down again, aren't I? No one car fit all of my conditions 100%, so I knew I was going to have to make a compromise here or there. I wanted a hatchback, illusory wall. This is not an illusory wall, folks. See? But I am going to give this a thumbs up just because I think that's funny. I wanted a hatchback. I wanted, ideally, 4-door hatchback. Although I looked at the Veloster as a 3-door. I needed 4 doors because my previous car was a 2-door, and it was very difficult to get my son in and out in his car seat, and with heads bumping and all sorts of issues. That car had a lot of problems. It's an old car. It had manual locks and windows. Yes, manual windows, guys. You had to roll the window with that old, roller knob. I'm doing the motion right now as if you can see it. It had AC problems, some body damage, some internal damage, some stuff didn't work. Some of the controls didn't work in it. The engine was starting to give out. And when it finally actually sputtered and died on me one day, I was like, yep, it is time to replace this car, because you don't want to start looking for a new car after your old car has actually died, because dealerships will not take a trade-in if it doesn't run. You have to be able to drive it to the dealership if you're buying from a dealership. And most people will not pay much for a car if it doesn't actually run. Now, if the car runs, oh, look at this. Look at how stupid this is. I'm using this ring for nothing. There we go. As long as the car runs, dealerships will let you trade it in. And I got a really good trade-in deal for my car. The car I had. It was a really good deal. It was much more than the car was worth. And I would not have gotten that had the car been dead on arrival. So, there you go. Usually these guys give me a little bit of trouble. But I found the way that works. I don't expect that to happen every time, but wow. I think they only hit me once. And I do believe they can drop humanity, although in this case, not a single one of them did. Okay, first order of business is we want to get the door unlocked. And actually, I don't recommend fighting those guys. I recommend healing up fully and making a beeline for this door right here. That way you've opened up the shortcut. So in case you die, you don't get screwed over. So what's the purpose of all this car talk? Shop around, guys. Shop around. Look for the best. And you're not just looking for the best deal. You're looking for the best overall package deal. And that doesn't necessarily mean the cheapest car. You don't want the cheapest car. I mean, maybe your budget's real low, so you want something cheaper. But you want to find something that matches your budget as best as possible. What you need in terms of, like, me, I wanted the 4-door. I wanted a hatchback. Ideally, I wanted a 2-liter turbo engine, so it would be kind of have the power I needed and get me where I wanted to go and accommodate the way I drive. Because if you tend to drive with a heavy foot, if you like to get going a lot, you don't want to be revving up a small, tiny engine without a turbo constantly, because it's going to be hard on that engine. It's not going to have the power that you need for what you want to do with it. I wanted a stick shift. because, well, a couple reasons. Number one is stick shift. You can get more power out of a stick shift if you know how to use it, not in launching. A really good automatic transmission can now exceed the capabilities of the best stick shift drivers. It can. They're that good now. You have dual clutches. The car is literally already in the next gear before you even get there. You can't compete with that in a stick shift. But when you're driving a stick shift, you can accommodate for the terrain. If you know that you're approaching a downward slope, you can shift down or even shift into neutral and push down the clutch if you want to, which actually in some states is illegal. You're not supposed to coast in neutral. I don't know why that's illegal, and I don't know how you'd ever figure that out, but I imagine that's mainly for truck drivers. Also, if you're approaching a hill going up, and you're just about hitting that next point where the car wants to shift up to the next gear, well, an automatic transmission is going to shift up right as you hit the bottom of the hill, and then as you're going up the hill, you're going to have less power. Some of you don't know what this means, and that's fine. Just ignore it. I was never a car guy before the end of last year. And so if you're in a stick shift, well, you know what you're about to come into. So what you can do at that moment, okay, this is the keys down here. What you can do at that moment is go, you know what? There's a hill coming up here. Instead of shifting up like I normally would at the speed I'm at, I'm going to actually shift down, rev match on my shift down, and then have a little more power to make it up this hill. Let's go over here. You can see me exploring as if I haven't been here in a while. And that's because, well, I haven't been here in a while. I did not mean to kick him, but it looked kind of cool, didn't it? Like I knew what I was doing. Soul of a proud knight. So proud. Like a father. All right. So, shopping around. Date many women. Don't just date one woman and go, well, you know what? She's available to me. She accepts me. She's willing to have sex with me. So, you know, well, this is the girl for me. No, don't do that. Now, let's say you just kind of bump into this girl. Every guy is telling you the same thing. Dude, where'd you find her, man? She's so hot. Dude, does she have a sister? So you're thinking, man, I'm so lucky. I found this woman. I can't believe I found this woman. I'm so fortunate. I don't know why she'd date a guy like... Don't do that. Don't self-deprecate. That's one of the iron rules of Tomasi from his Rational Mail book. Do not self-deprecate. Don't talk poorly about yourself, because then you'll start to believe that stuff. You don't want to do that. Don't talk bad about yourself to anybody. And now, you can be realistic about your flaws and problems and whatnot. Best to talk to a guy friend, not your woman, about that. She doesn't want to know that you're flawed and have problems. She'll figure that out. You don't have to tell her. You don't have to convince her that you're not perfect. Trust me, the longer you guys spend together, the more she's going to figure out you got problems and you got flaws. Don't introduce her to them before she figures it out on her own. The other thing, too, is you may think, okay, well, this is a great-looking girl, right? She's a little hottie. She's with me. I mean, are those your standards? That's what I'm going to have to ask you. Are your standards for a woman, well, she's reasonably attractive and is willing to be with me? Because that's pretty low. That's pretty pathetic. If those were actually... I can't believe he dodged me like that. What a punk. Did you see that? He was a little cocky about it, too, the way he just did that jump back. If those are your standards, I gotta say, guys, you're setting the bar pretty low. That's setting the bar pretty darn low. So you want to look at yourself and how much you value yourself, because you probably don't value yourself very much if your standard is, well, she looks reasonably decent and she's willing to be with me. Those are low standards set by people who have low self-esteem. Now, if you have low self-esteem because you think like, well, gee, you know, man, I don't really have a reason to have high self-esteem. I got nothing going for me. Then change that. Get something going for you, you know. Start working out. So start looking good. Make more money, if that's what it comes down to, you know. Get some overtime in. Get rid of some of that debt, if that's the issue. Get your spending under control. Look up how to budget and how to spend better if you need more money. Because maybe you can't even pay for dates. You're so, you know. And if it becomes necessary, then beyond that, maybe you need to go look for a better job. In the meantime, you can work overtime if it's available. You can spend better. You can budget better. But if you need to, find a better job and make more money. And guys, please don't think that that means you have to go back to college. That's not necessarily the case. Now, if you want to be a pharmacist or a doctor or a lawyer, yeah, You can't do that on your own. You can't study at home and, have your at-home law degree. They don't... I mean, you could take classes out, but you got to go through... You're going to have to go through a college, university for that. They don't offer... you can't just do your own thing and become a lawyer or doctor. You need to be, certified, basically, by a board, and they're going to expect you to have the full education to round that off. But anyway, do whatever it takes. I mean, if you need to look at your situation and go, you know what, I'm working this job with my bachelor's degree. I'm making $35,000 a year. Maybe in a few more years, I'll make it past the $40,000 mark. Well, that's not great, right? There are people who don't have any degree making a lot more than that. So maybe you want to go to a technical school and be a plumber or an electrician and make almost twice as much as you're making now. And then eventually you could maybe own your own company. So those are things to look at. Anyway, increasing your value is a great way to increase your self-esteem. As a guy, you don't want to blow smoke up your own skirt, so to speak. I'm not going to say, I use language, blow smoke up your own ass. You know your own value, or at least you should. If your value is low and you know it's low, increase it. That will help you a lot more than just trying to artificially pretend you're more valuable than you are. So if you can increase your value, increase your value. Find ways to do that. And like I said, make more money, that's one way. A better job is another way, with more status. I mean, some jobs come with a level of status, even if they don't always come with all the money. Working overtime to make more money. Budgeting better. Getting in shape is a way to do that. Lifting weights and exercising. Eat right so that you feel good. You don't just want to look good, you want to feel good too. And eating right can help you both look and feel better. I totally forget about some of the hidden areas in here. This is kind of fun just exploring. I believe this is Velka's Rape. Yeah, I was about to say Velka's Rapier. Okay, and that is going to take me somewhere I've already been, I believe. So we're not going to go there. We're not going to drop down. And as you increase your value... I heard one of these things. I feel like it's going to come after me from somewhere. Audio cues, right? As you increase your value, you will inherently know your own value is increasing, and you'll act like it. Remember, you need to act like you're the one who is valuable. Don't act like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad she'd be with me. I can't believe she'd be with me. I'm such a loser. I'm so fortunate she's with me. How about think instead, this girl is fortunate to have me. I'm a high-value man, and I choose her, and I hope she knows what she's got. Why not think like that? Turn that thinking around so that you're not thinking of yourself as a loser, but you're thinking of yourself as someone worth having, and as a woman fortunate to have you. Women are taught to think this way. Men are taught to consider themselves lucky to have a good woman. Men are taught to consider themselves very fortunate. Illusory wall ahead. I'll give that some points. I knew it wasn't an illusory wall, but I still hit it anyway. Because why not? So consider yourself the prize, so to speak. Again, concepts from the Rational Male book by Rollo Tomassi. I didn't come up with this stuff, guys. I'm not pretending that I did. Although I don't agree with everything in his book, and I imagine you wouldn't either, it's by far more than worth reading more than once. I would read it multiple times. Let's see. Wow, I expected to get hit by that fireball, but I didn't. Timing was off on that fireball attack. Wow. I've never had one of them survive a two-handed R1 from me, so I don't know why that one was extra powerful in that moment. You should be ready for attacks by now and ambushes. Although I think you do get ambushed here by two of those birdmen, but it doesn't happen if you've already killed them, and I think they were up on that spiral staircase platform, so I believe I already killed them. This should be an armor set? Yes. Okay, I remembered it. Velka's armor set. Velka's whole set is here. The rapier and the armor set, and I believe that's all Velka has. If I'm not mistaken. Alright, so if we can get in there, then we're good to go at this point. I think we've pretty much gotten most everything in here, except for that item right there that I'm looking at right now. Yeah, okay. Those not such a big deal. We don't really need souls that bad. Now, this character is... you know, it actually doesn't tell you anywhere in here whether you're male or female, but I guess you can just look. I can't remember what I made this character. Male, okay. It would have been nice to have made actually a female character because... Where... I must have just passed by it. There it is. Because I want to do New Game Plus with Kieran's armor set. We didn't actually get that, but I might be able to mod the game a little bit. I just need to see what tools are out there for the remastered version. The original Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition on PC had a pretty extensive set of, I don't know what you'd want to call them, maybe hacking tools. I hate using that. But where you could hack items into your game or hack your soul level and all that stuff. As long as you don't cheat in PvP with that, I don't have a problem with it. If you're just making stuff that you would normally have anyway, then that's fine as far as I'm concerned. That's what I used it for. That way you increase the amount of PvP available because people were making new builds really quickly, but they weren't making anything that they couldn't make in the game normally anyway. So I wouldn't consider that cheating, especially for someone who's been through the game over and over and over and over and over again, and certainly doesn't need to prove anything. All right. Well, now I'm just sort of wandering around here. I just need to get back to where I was, don't I? Is that going to take me to an item I haven't found yet? Interestingly enough, this game has a lot of that twinkling sound in it. That almost sounds like the Crystal Caves. This level, this area, I should say, is what I meant to say. All right. So I think we got most everything. There might be an item or two here or there that we didn't get, but whatever. Who cares at this point, right? Now this key should also open up this door, right? Oh, locked by contraption. Ah. I forgot to turn the whatchamacallit down below. Let's go do that now. By going into the well, which is right here. There it is. So if you shop around, that means you're dating around. You're exploring all your options with multiple different women. And the more women you look at... Is that still that other one that's just kind of like, yeah. The more women you get with and just spend time with, the more women you realize are out there, and the more you realize what your options are. And yeah, that's not what I wanted. So you're able to make smarter decisions. Like if you look, like I said, if you only look at one car, then that's kind of your concept of a car, right? But if you look at multiple different cars, that allows you to say, hey, wait a minute, this car over here is kind of overpriced. How do you know it's overpriced? Because you compared it to very many similar cars. And the more similar cars you compare, the more you get a good idea of, is this a good car for the value? What does it offer? You know, how much does it offer for the price? Same thing with like if you're buying a suit. Let's say you go to the most expensive suit store you can think of, and you're like, oh, well, this is the price of a suit. Wow. Well, that's the price of a suit at that store. But you might go to a cheaper department store and be like, you know, this suit looks almost as good, and the fabric seems like it's the same. And as far as I can tell, the quality is roughly around the same, but it's less than half the price. Well, there we go. We pretty much opened this all up. Let's run through here, because I think we have to go this way anyway to get out of here. I don't think we can warp from the bonfire. So the more options you explore, the more options you have, the more you realize what is out there and what is available to you. This episode might go a little long, because we're going to go to Gwyn, and if I die to Gwyn, well then yeah, it's going to take longer. I always expected these guys to crawl over those ledges at some point, and they do. Look at that. I expected that the first time I went through here, because it already happened in several places in this level. So by that time, I was expecting it. Oh, yeah, I was about to say, I think he's going to get me. His range is sufficient. You can't backstab this guy. Large Titanite. He did not appear last time when we did the jump. The dragon leg skip. Sometimes he appears when I do it, and sometimes he doesn't. So it's clearly not meant to happen. It's a bit buggy. Surprised they didn't fix it. I thought for sure they'd fix the buggy aspects that were not intended to be in the game, but they didn't. We did not fight, what's his face? The fire whip dude, but whatever, who cares, right? Okay, we're gonna just run through here. I wouldn't mind fighting them right now, but I don't want to waste time. Let's get back to the Firelink Shrine and do what we need to do. Kill Gwen and end this series, and then we'll pick up with another one. Ideally, I'll be playing as Kieran. Kieran cosplay in New Game Plus, which will be interesting because we won't have a shield. That's always interesting. I'm pretty reliant on shields in these games. Always have been. I just like the shield in the Souls games, but it's good to change things up from time to time. Do things a little differently. Let's go to the Firelink Shrine, and we'll also level up by popping some souls. Almost overfilled my cup of coffee. My cup overfloweth. So some of the pitfalls. Getting caught up with one woman, that's known as one-itis, or the dream girl concept. Excuse me. Can be it as well. The other one is the soulmate myth. The idea that there's one special person out there for you, and if you believe in the soulmate myth, it's romantic. It is not realistic. It is not reality. It is extremely dangerous because, excuse me, if you believe in the soulmate myth, you will get caught up thinking that there's a special girl for you that you have to have, that there's no other. Give me just a moment. I have to clear my throat. This is going to take a little more than the typical cough. All right, that feels so much better. Turned away from the mic for that. Didn't want you guys to hear that. Am I sick? Well, I feel like I'm fighting something off, but I'm not quite sure. Oh, by the way, if you didn't notice it, they give you the option to switch the various covenants you have at bonfires. So, although a lot of people appreciate that and like it, and I understand that, to be honest, I gotta say, it feels kind of cheap. Like, the covenants didn't really feel like much of a commitment as it was, because you could just go and switch them up. Now you can switch them up at the bonfire at your own leisure, which is good for, well, switching things up, but not so great for, I guess we could have just warped directly down below, right?
Very well.
I didn't. Skip all this. And I don't think we've even given him the Lord Souls yet. Or put the Lord Souls in the Lord Vessel. But this should do it. Boom. Okay, yeah. We don't have time to watch that, guys. Sorry. It's nice that, you know what? Let's go human. And I know we don't really have time, but we're going to do it anyway. If we get invaded, it'll be fun. And if this episode goes a bit long, I think you guys won't mind too much. Yeah, the one-itis, the dream girl concept, the soulmate concept gets you caught up on that one person. And here's the biggest problem. When she decides she no longer wants this relationship, and she will decide it, not you, because you are stuck on the soulmate myth. She's not. If women get stuck on the soulmate myth, they break from that pretty quickly. Years of dealing with a man's crap, so to speak, because everyone has crap in their life you have to put up with. Any woman you date, marry, whatever, you're going to have to put up with her, quotation, crap, unquote. Everyone's got crap. Everyone's got issues, flaws, problems, addictions, possibly. Everyone's got their own issues. So you have to put up with crap. Women get sick of a man's crap much faster than men get sick of women's crap. Much faster. Men are more willing to be simply content. Women want more excitement, and they get bored more easily. Therefore, when the relationship ends in the soulmate myth scenario, it will almost always be the woman who ends it, and the man will be on the receiving end of that. And when that happens, it is a very rough, cold shower to the man. That his soulmate, his dream girl, the woman he was always meant to be with, is leaving. And that so breaks his narrative, his paradigm, the way he believes things should work, that he thinks, well, she can't do that. That's not right. That's wrong. That can't happen. He will fight like heck to keep it going. In essence, looks like we have a break in the connection. In essence, what will end up happening is he will be unable to get beyond her. He'll get caught up on her. And if he stays legal in all of his actions, let's put it simply, it will still be really, really bad for him. He'll struggle really hard. It'll be a terrible breakup. It'll throw his whole world for a loop. I mean, he's not going to kill himself. Most men won't even consider that. But he'll be extremely sad, extremely torn. It'll take him a long time to get over it. And he may pass up other good female options for him, other good women. He'll pass them up thinking he has to stay available for her when she changes her mind. And she won't. She almost never does. If she does change her mind and go to him, she'll change her mind again and leave him. Almost always happens. So that's the thing, guys. When a relationship ends, it's over. Keep it ended. It ended for a reason. It should stay ended for the same reason it ended. There's a saying, once you take the trash out to the curb, you don't bring it back in. And that doesn't mean the person was absolute trash. It just means for you, they were trash. They weren't the right guy for you. Or woman, sorry. I said guy because I'm reading this. It was Black Guy 69. What a name. What a name. What a name. What a name. I have a feeling he might have put his summon sign there for someone in particular. Who knows? But he isn't popping up. What's going on? There we go. Oh, did you see that? Oh, got him. Nice. Is this guy coming? Black Guy 69 was vanquished. What, did he kill himself? Did he jump off a ledge? There were no enemies up there. Excuse me. Oh, I'm sounding really sick to you guys, aren't I? By the way, this is where you can farm all the Black Knight weapons. You get the Black Knight armor set, and you can farm all of the chunks. In case you were wondering. Here we go. This gonna end it, folks. We may not go into any overtime. I think, isn't he gonna lose all those thingies when he walks through the fog wall? No? Yeah, he will. Okay, I thought so. Oh, I tried to parry him. Fail. Oh, my bad. He would have done a lot of damage had I let that go through. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I died. But you know what? That's awesome. That's actually pretty cool because now I get to go back through. We still have some time left. I anticipated this episode would take around 50 minutes. And we're close to that if we get through this pretty quickly. So, worst case scenario, what will a man do who believes in the myth of the dream girl, the soulmate, the one-itis? Worst case scenario? Murder-suicide. Very rare, very rare. Most men don't even consider it, but it is something a few guys do because they get so caught up in this crazy notion that she's the special one for him. She can't be with anyone else. You know, it's that idea that if he can't have her, no one else can. Don't ever get in that mentality, guys. I'm very fortunate I was never in that mentality. Not even close, never got there. Not to brag, but it just... Even when I was at my lowest point, I never thought that I could never find someone else. I never thought that this person I was with, they absolutely have to be with me. No. My thought process was, this shouldn't end. It's supposed to be forever. We took these marriage vows, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? I mean, big picture, it really doesn't matter. Now, if you got kids and a house and retirement accounts and all that, and you've been married, yeah, it's a big pain in the ass. But all of that, those are government contracts you need to take care of. Hopefully you had a prenup, and hopefully you updated that prenup at least once every 3 years, if not once every year. Because prenups, some judges will consider them to expire if they aren't updated over time, which is bullshit, but whatever. This Black Guy 69 is a real pain in the ass. This is the other thing they didn't fix. When messages appear on the screen like that, it disables my ability to, you know, control my character. I couldn't attack the guy while the message was on my screen. That's just ridiculous. There's no reason for that. Oh, Ella, no, wait, is that the one that was just... I think that's the person that we were with earlier. Maybe? We'll see. Uh-oh. They serious. They serious. Oops. Took him right into my summon. Oh, now he knows I'm going to possibly try to parry him. Oh, there we go. I think they can heal, though, right? Oh, yeah, the timing on that when they max it out is insane. It's faster than a... it's faster than an R1 from Katana, which is kind of silly. I wish they had actually fixed the nature of dark magic or whatever it's called. It is just too powerful. It basically overrides all the other magics. So yeah, that's the worst case scenario when you believe in one-itis, dream girl, soulmate, myth, all that nonsense. Don't do that. Don't get caught up in that. Is she special? Well, I mean, yeah, I guess she's special just like every other girl. Is she a super special catch that you'll never find again? Yeah, sort of in a way, but not really, because you can find someone who's roughly equal or better. So I wouldn't worry about that. It's not like you're going to find this one really special girl and there'll never be another girl that is even remotely like her. There'll never be another woman exactly like her, but that's okay, because guess what? This other woman you meet, she'll have some things that are better about her that are a better match for you, and some things that are not. Don't get caught up on, well, you know, she's not like the other girl and she doesn't like this and that. And look at the ways that other women are better than the woman you just left or the woman that just left you. And if a woman leaves you, please, by all means, make zero efforts whatsoever to try to make her stay. Do not do that. That looks weak. You'll look weak to her. You'll make things worse. If you want her to, I don't know, sort of come back to you or consider her leaving a mistake, the worst thing you can do is sit there and beg or plead or tell her she should stay with you or tell her she's not going to find anyone better. Don't try to one-up the situation. Don't try to act like you're better than her or she'll never find anything good. Don't insult her. Don't tell her that you knew she was always garbage and blah. No, don't do that. Just let her leave. Be cool about it. And this is going to sound weird, but be professional, if that makes sense. And then when she's gone, and move on. Just immediately start moving on. That's the highest display of value you can give. That you know your own value so much that you are worth it to other women. You can find other women. You don't need to hang on to the notion of the old woman that left you. You don't need her. You'll be perfectly happy with another woman. Or can be perfectly happy by yourself. That's the ultimate. Is when you know what you provide, you know what you offer, and you're happy, perfectly content to eat alone at the table. You don't need a woman sitting there with you. If you can find a good quality woman that is going to match the values that you need, who passes your immediate vetting tests, who respects your boundaries, that's great. Whoops. But you don't immediately need a woman to replace another woman. If one woman leaves and you want to take some time for yourself, that's great. That's fine. Don't worry. Yeah, do that. Don't think you have to immediately jump to the next one. But if there's one immediately available and you want to jump to the next one, do it. You just move on. Is it really that easy? Yeah. Almost got it, but not quite. Oh, I messed up 2 parries in a row. I'm really off my game. This guy's not the easiest. I mean, he's not difficult to parry, mind you, but he's not super easy. Whoa, that was close. But he really can get you with the back end of that sword. Even if he's facing the opposite direction, attacking another character, one of your summons, he'll still get you with the back side of it. So that's something to consider. His back is not a safe location. What's he doing? That's a good attack if you can dodge it, because you get a couple free shots in. Oh, I would have parried him had he actually been facing me, maybe, I think. Oh, there we go. And that's it, guys. If you're going to parry Gwen to death, it's best to do it without a summon, really. So from here... Yeah, I wonder what happens if you use the Homered Bone. Do you return to this bonfire? I think you do, right? Yeah, okay. They accounted for that. They're so smart. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. We're going to pick up right away with the next playthrough. I'm going to try to make it a Kieran playthrough if I can get that set up. If not, we'll probably do another... Well, we might do a New Game Plus playthrough with this character, and I might just put one of the halberds on. Although I should have gotten enough equipment to upgrade everything. I really needed more large Titanite. I needed more Titanite chunks. I do have a slab, thank goodness. So I didn't prepare for that fully. But whatever. That's okay. So with that, guys, thanks for joining me. As always, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video. Follow me on my social media links down below. Make sure to maintain your frame, right? That's kind of the new thing we've been saying at the end of these episodes. And the next one will be all about the same topic, but different kind of nuance segments of it. The masculinity, the manosphere, the red pill movement. Not so much MGTOW men's rights activism or whatnot, but masculinity, manosphere in terms of relationships more than anything else, but also just in terms of your value as a man. What's this say? I did it. Praise the sun. All right. We're going to call it quits. I'm going to cut it pretty much right after this. No point in just sitting and watching the credits. Nobody does that. Nobody watches the credits. Thanks again, guys. And I will see you in the next playthrough on FoxeoGames.